Where is he? Where's Alson?
Thaniel will be so scared there alone. We looked after each other for such a long time. I hope he's all right.
Halsin found Thaniel in the Shadowfell, but there's something wrong with him.
Something wrong. He withstood the shadows for so long. Whatever's overcome him now must be something different, something worse. I trust you and Halsin to help him. He's a sweet soul, Thaniel. I can't wait for you to meet him.
All right.
He looks a little better, doesn't he? Oh, that is.
Yeah, he does. She's written in a peculiar way. I like her. Let's go to camp, because I think that's where Halsin is. Yep.
Thaniel is resting, but it's no easy slumber. I discovered what's wrong with him. The shadows rendered him in two when they bore him away to the Shadowfell. Half of his essence remained here, amidst the curse. What stayed behind would have been the strongest part of him. But after all these years left in the darkness, corruption must have taken hold.
Can it be undone?
Perhaps. If we can find Thaniel's lost half and make him whole again. Only the missing half may not come willingly. The curse will have sunk its tendrils deep, twisting Thaniel's essence into something else.
I think I know where that is. I met a shadow child named Oliver, resembling Thaniel, but he's dead now. Well, his family's dead. I didn't kill him.
Perhaps not. If he truly is a part of Thaniel, then he is beyond life and death. More likely he's just hiding. We should return to where you saw him. And I truly mean we, if you wish. Every moment counts, and I've asked much of you already without being at your side.
All right, leave it to me.
This doesn't have to be your burden alone. If you want me, I'm yours. Against the curse, against the absolute. Anything. Just say the word.
Wait, you're a party member. Yeah, join me.
Seems your ranks are quite packed. If some space frees up, I'll be ready for you.
Absolutely. He's a druid. Right.
Thaniel still suffers. There'll be no improvement until his essence is restored, I fear.
Once Thaniel's essence is found, what then?
In truth, I'm not sure. This is beyond all reckoning. It's still part of Thaniel deep down, but it may not recognize that, or want to recognize that. Perhaps it can be reasoned with, but I'm not hopeful. Reason is not something that thrives amidst the shadow curse.
You don't give them a chance, that's why. So, he needs to come with us. But who am I going to give up? Will, naturally. Because he's the one that definitely doesn't belong in this. So let's say goodbye to Will.
Are you sure? The blade stands at the ready.
Yeah, remain here. I'll come for you when I need to.
And just when things were warming up.
And get Halsin.
Thaniel still suffers. There'll be no improvement until his essence is restored, I fear.
Yeah, don't worry. Come in. Join me.
Good. Now our roots can deepen. Together.
Will approves. He's not even in the party. And he approves. Oh, he's a level 1 druid. He was a level 5 before. That's curious. That's very curious. Anyway, send all of that to camp because you're not wearing any of that. Well, druid leather. Yeah, you're not wearing any of that. Oh, excuse me. I meant to give you camp clothes. That's the first time we're seeing his camp clothes as well. Very detailed leather pants. Very nice looking leather pants. I would never be caught dead wearing that. But that's me because I'm a wimp. Oh, Arabella's still here. That's curious. I should talk to her.
No one stopped me yet. If not over, then through.
I guess I can take care of myself. I mean, I've gotten this far.
Yep. Anyway, let's respec Halsin. Look how smug he looks.
Another. Thy name has been recorded. I shall be here in thy camp for whenever thou hast need of my services.
Alright, let's respec.
As thou desire.
Right. Alright, that is a reality of, I don't, not 100% sure. But we're gonna pretend that's not the thing. He's a druid. He's doing his thing on the right side. Don't worry. He's not scary. He's definitely not scary. He's fine. He's a nice. Look at him. Look at him. He's a nice Halsin. And he's very. Wait, what? Oh, right. For a moment there, I thought he was stuck at 8 intelligence. He's a fucking himbo by default. You can't, even if you respect him, you cannot. You can't get him better. Anyway, we will. So he's wild shape. I think Constitution changes the wild shape. He's a wild shape aficionado. That's how I'm gonna play him for a little bit. Anyway, we may get him in the team for later. Either way, my point is we're gonna have a high Constitution and charisma. I don't think charisma matters for him at all. Yeah, he doesn't need a personality. I mean, just look at him. Not right now. Don't do that. Let's bring. Oh, but that doesn't bring dexterity high enough. Although it would be good for advanced. Yeah. It would be good for a the attribute gain, which he's surely gonna get. So he's got skill proficiencies. That's pretty good. Okay, so he's got only 2 because of his intelligence, insight, and animal handling. Why not? Perfect. And now he's respect. Now the reason why that is going on is because he doesn't actually have armor. So let's take care of that. He's gonna get the adamantine scale mail over here, even though that caps his dexterity bonus. That's fine. He gets it for attacks. Actually, if he goes into animal form, he doesn't get it for attacks. The animals get their own thing. This was Karlach's equipment. In fact, we could just give him Karlach's stuff, I suppose. But this means what I wanted to do by this is to give him armor so he doesn't show up all scuffed in the freaking level up screen. I don't understand what that is. There he is. You can't see his muscles anymore, but, you know, at least it doesn't scare you half to death. And he gets health. He's got one level 1 spell slot. Combat Wild Shape, which is a bonus action, which is pretty good because that's for... Actually, he only gets that as the Circle of the Moon. Yeah, that's what that is. Circle of the Land and Circle of the Spores are different. But we're going to go with Circle of the Moon because I want to have him transformed as often as possible. Those are per rest or per short rest, apparently. Combat Wild Shape. And we got a bunch of actions here, which is Wild Shape into different things. He doesn't have a bear? He does. Wait, is that special to him? That may be special to him. So magically, I think my favorite one is the Panther later in the game. Or at level 6, I think. Or level 3? I don't, or level 4. It's one of those. It's early. And the bear here, the polar bear, has a starting health of 30 hit points. That increases every 2 levels. Oh my god. Oh, it doesn't increase by 30. Okay. And while in animal shape, you can talk. Yeah, that's just how it is. You take on attributes of the beast, excluding your intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. And when your beast form drops to 0, you revert to your normal form at the previous health. So you basically have 2 health pools, and that is a huge, huge thing. Because it's basically, that's how druids tank. And yeah, so we're going to keep that. We're going to prepare spells even though we don't need to. Ooh, Fairy Fire. I haven't seen this yet. It used to be called something else in Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. It's basically you sprinkle dust or something like that, and you cast it, put it on over people, and they become visible if they're invisible. And you can kind of see where that comes from, can't you? And then we have some healing spells, which is pretty good. All right. Next level. He's got a little bit of health. Spells. Just a bunch of spells. We're good. That's all of my prepared spells. Let's see what else we have. Moonbeam. This is really powerful. It's a concentration spell. Call down a beam of light that damages any creature that enters the beam or starts its turn in the light. You can use an action to move the beam. Wow. That is really good. Heat metal. Causes a metal armor or armor to glow red hot and disadvantages. It does damage fire as well. It disadvantages the enemies, so that's pretty cool. We got more health. We got more spells, a cantrip, and actions. A Deep Rothe and a Dire Raven. As can blind. Oh, it's just a better version of the crow, isn't it? Yeah. And a new feat as well. Fantastic. Let's go with ability improvement, bringing his charisma up and his dexterity up. Pretty good. As for cantrips, let's go with poison spray. Next level. He doesn't have shoes. That's just how I be sometimes. Spells and wild strike. You can make an additional attack after making an unarmed strike while in wild shape. Yeah, the wild shapes don't have weapons, so that's how unarmed works. Now for spells, we have protection from energy, call lightning. That's when you're outside. They removed that. It used to be the only when you are outside you call lightning on people. This is pretty good. Sleet storm disrupts the concentration of spellcasters. Always? Douses fires and creates an ice? Does that guarantee? I think that may guarantee a concentration check or a failure. Make weeds burst from the ground and smother the area. Creatures moving through the weeds have movement speed quartered. It's like super ultra difficult terrain. Wow. And it's 6 meters, so it's, you know, it's good for chokes, but it's not amazing for most things. Anyway, next level. What do we have? Health. Spells. What is that? Primal Strike. While in beast form, your attacks count as magical for the purposes of overcoming resistance and immunity to non-magical. You don't get pluses, though, apart from the stats of the beasts. The beasts tend to have very good stats. The bear, I imagine, has tremendous amounts of strength. We have a panther. That's my baby right there. Your panther shape has a starting health of 45 hit points. But I think our bear shape already has a better hit points thing. But the thing is, it jumps really well. I think it has, like, double the jumping distance. And it has, it's really versatile, and I think has bleed. I don't remember exactly, or from the rules. And here, Owl Bear has 65. That's an enormous owl bear. Oh my god. That's pretty good. And prepare spells, that's the same. So, we're good. Next level. More health. Class features, more spells, and more spells. We have Ice Storm, Confusion, Dominate Beast. Make a beast fight alongside you. Oh, that's basically a better version of Animal Friendship. It does a polymorph, which I think actually is really good for him. Summon a giant vine capable of dragging creatures towards itself. That sounds interesting. Confusion is a group of creatures. Yeah, I'll do that. Accept. The Wall of Fire, speaking of. Was there a Wall of Fire there? Health. Spells. Saber-toothed Tiger. Shred armor and regenerate. Oh, it says the abilities here. Can shred armor. Reducing their armor class by 1. And a new feat. Which means, because there are no specific feats that I can see that are really good for him, although Warcaster would be good, I will go with ability improvement to get my wisdom up. Because that's how we get our things. You know, we also have more spell slot. We have so... Oh, because the wisdom went up, and then every 2 levels we get an extra one. Wow. Okay. We have Wall of Fire. Long Strider. It's a ritual as well. And then Sleep is a ritual. Wow, that's interesting. We can just have extra jumping speed and movement speed as long as he casts it. Right? Fantastic. Okay. Now, for his equipment. The equipment doesn't matter as much. I mean, it matters, but it doesn't really matter, right? You know what I mean. Start of combat gains momentum. That's what I'm talking about. Ooh. Gloves of Cinder and Sizzle. Your unarmed attacks deal an additional 1d4 fire damage. Does that apply to my... I think that applies to our... Look at that. 0 to 20. Is it 0d20? Oh, it's a +1. Right. Of course, it's 0d20. So the way unarmed attacks work is it's just a flat strength bonus. And we have... Apparently we have 1 strength bonus. I'm not sure how that comes around. But... Or maybe that's a base. It's 1+. Yeah. That's pretty good. Oh, but this may be better, actually. Carlax's gloves. Strength saving throws as well. Yeah, the gloves that give him advantage when surrounded by people. That is definitely better, I think. As for boots now. Disintegrating night walkers. Can't be enwebbed, entangled, or ensnared. That's actually quite amazing. So, next for our amulet. Not provoking. This actually may be really good for him. The reason for that is he moves around. So if he doesn't provoke, it's 50% or less. Like, that's incredible. Just moves around and attacks whoever he wants. Let's see what Shadowheart is going to wear then. I'll give her Misty Step. It's a good old. And we'll keep it over there. Actually, we're going to keep it over here. The reason why is it's a good old because we got it early in the game. And it's pretty awesome. Now, rings. Oh, also during combat, when the wearer starts their turn with 50% hit points or less, they gain momentum. So that is pretty great. And I will also give him the... This one is nice. I don't use it as much. Why don't I use it? Oh. Because it's somebody else's. Yeah, acid damage and that. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's a good combination for him. That's perfect. Let's see. Put it over there. Yeah, we don't need movement speed. And then everything else is good? No, weapons are not. He doesn't have proficiency with many weapons, though. So he needs a shield. Speaking of shields. Right there. We have our light. Lathenders. Yeah, that's a great... it's a great combination. I love it.
Is that blood?
And we have a new companion.
Never mind.
We should talk to him, though. I don't know if he says anything new.
Oakfather preserve you.
Okay, he does say a lot of things new. You said Thaniel is missing part of himself. Any ideas how we can find it?
No matter how it's been twisted by the shadows, it is still part of Thaniel's essence. It will resemble him somehow, and may show signs of his power. Look for signs of life in the darkness, wildflowers where everything else is dead. The curse cannot subdue the power Thaniel bears. Not entirely. In fact, I think I saw just the sort before, not long after we first came within reach of the Shadow Curse. Fool that I am, I did not grasp their significance at the time. There is a ruin some way outside of Last Light. I caught a glimpse of fresh blooms there, but did not investigate further. I shall mark it upon your map.
Thank you. Fool that I... Wait. Just the way outside Last Light? No, that's definitely where we went already. Yeah, it says fool that I am. Yeah, canonically. I met a peers of yours, by the way. The druid Jahira. Do you know her?
Only by reputation. She was present when we marched against Ketheric Thorm, but on the far end of the battle lines from where I fought. And in the chaos that ensued, well, our forces were scattered. I led some to safety, but never learned of her fate. I'm glad to hear she survived. Though in truth, I should not be surprised. She was always said to be formidable and cunning. I could have learned much from her, no doubt.
You seem to admire her greatly.
There is much to admire, judging by the stories. I cannot help but wonder how she would have handled some of the challenges I faced as Archdruid. Would she have helped the refugees? Defended the Grove? Controlled Korga? At least now we can benefit from her presence, and perhaps work to a common goal.
That's interesting. That is the beauty of Jaheira as a character, is that you sort of don't know how she's going to react. She's a neutral-coded character in terms of alignment, and the game is, the Baldur's Gate 2 anyway, is written very much with the alignments in mind and the sort of playing around that line. And Jaheira's dilemmas and stuff like that are very much shaped by the choices of you as a player, and you can change her attitude in certain ways, not everywhere, obviously. You've spent all these years fighting the Shadow Curse. What happens once it's lifted?
Honestly, I never thought I'd make it that far. But the Absolute is a threat to all, and I promised I'd help you with your parasite. So, I'll remain with you. If you'll have me, that is.
Yes, of course. I only wish you would join earlier, honestly.
So do I. But one duty at a time.
Mm-hmm. How am I holding up in your estimations, speaking of which?
Given the circumstances, you're faring as well as can be expected, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I felt like I haven't gotten to know you properly yet.
It's true, and I can't imagine I helped with that. Sometimes I let the task at hand consume me, and people think I'm obsessed. Trust me, the day I no longer have to talk about the Shadow Curse will be a happy one. What would you like to know?
Don't take this the wrong way, but you're quite large for an elf. I say, being an elf myself and looking up at this hunk of a muscle man.
I am? Trust me, it's been said. You show more restraint than most in avoiding the subject until now.
Really? People comment like that before you join their party? That's bold of them. We don't have to talk about it if you don't want to.
It's a natural question, but I don't have a good answer, I'm afraid. Perhaps there's a half-orc buried somewhere in my ancestry. Or perhaps not. Sometimes I think conventional wisdom is too narrow about what someone can or cannot be. Stranger things have most certainly happened.
Yeah. How did you come to be a druid?
I had a friend when I was young, long ago. He played with me in the forests where I grew up. But eventually, I realized no one else had heard of him. It was Thaniel, of course. Nature was my very first friend. I get older, but he hasn't changed a day. I knew then that I had to be more than a companion to him. I had to be a protector.
Wait, Thaniel is nature? What? Is he like a god or something? What the hell? The Ark was talking about Thaniel in a very weird way, like he's a good person or whatever. I can't wait for you to meet him. And I'm like, he's just a boy. Like how much can you meet of a boy? It's like they're it's fine, right? But they're kids. Like how special can he be? And apparently, yeah, that's apparently very special. Do you have people out there somewhere, family, friends, a lover, perhaps?
You're not a doppelganger, are you? Trying to study me to learn all my secrets so you can take my place? Save for me, my line perished a long time ago. They rest in High Forest now, near the shade of the grandfather tree. The Grove became my family, with Sylvanas as my teacher. And now I have you.
It seems like the sort of line that I know I have you. Seems like the sort of line you say when you're like trying to flirt, but then you're like halfway through, you're like, okay, I can't come up with anything. I just say this and that's it. Let's see how this lands. And I don't know if that's what he means, though. I'm sorry for your loss.
It was a long time ago. The wounds don't heal, but they become more bearable.
You didn't answer the part about lovers, though.
I'm 350 years old. Of course there have been lovers. Just because I love nature doesn't mean I'm betrothed to it. Though sometimes nature needs reminding.
Don't leave me hanging. Is there someone in your life right now?
Right now, I bed down alone, I'm afraid. Perhaps once I talk less of curses and parasites, my fortunes will improve.
Perhaps. Hold on. Nature needs reminding of what exactly?
Well, I didn't pick this scar up in battle. I was in wild shape, only I forgot it was the season when bears are particularly social. A she-bear claimed me as her own and did not appreciate being spurned.
Wait. You kept a scar from you? I don't think that's how wild shape works. I think he's bullshitting us. I think it's not how. I think it wasn't him spurning the bear. It was more the other way around, perhaps. Anyway, tell me something about yourself that I wouldn't even think to ask.
I suppose you wouldn't be shocked to learn I love animals and nature? I know. Well-trodden territory. Well then, let's see. I whittle in my spare time, and I've something of a sweet tooth. Although everyone's very amused when I say I like honey.
Oh yeah, because of the bear thing. Whittling, huh? What do you make?
Ornaments, utensils, and ducks. I like ducks.
I would like to make ducks. I have a whittling knife. I've cut myself 3 times. I don't use it much anymore. So, you turn into a bear and you like honey. Well, you're fortunate enough to know what you like. I wouldn't pay any attention to what others think.
You're right. Sometimes I think people look at me and imagine my feelings can't be hurt.
That's... yeah. Well, thank you for sharing.
Thank me by returning the favor, why don't you? Come on. I'm sure you've something better than carving wooden ducks.
I live in mortal fear of krakens, though I have never actually seen one.
Well, they are fierce creatures from what I understand. But as long as you avoid the high seas, I think you can consider yourself safe.
I don't know. I'm in a Larian game after all, so I don't remember any game. No, actually, wait a minute. Divinity Original Sin. Sorry, Divine Divinity did not have a kraken, as far as I know. That's the only game that I played of theirs without a kraken. Although I haven't played exactly all of them, but yeah, that's enough for now.
Anytime.
What happened before when the Shadow Curse was unleashed?
Druids and Harpers joined together to put a stop to Ketheric Thorm. We marched on Moonrise, and after much fighting, we prevailed. Even in defeat, though, Ketheric turned to Shah. Not long after we sealed him away in his tomb, the Shadow Curse took hold. No one had seen the likes of it before. No one knew how to react. Then it started to claim all those within its reach. Those who had survived the battles now fell to the shadows, became part of the shadows.
This explains a lot.
And worst of all, I lost contact with Thaniel. I wanted to try and find him, but we couldn't stay. We would have all succumbed. When the Archdruid of the Grove, my predecessor, was seized by the curse, I had to lead the survivors to safety. That was my first day as Archdruid. An inauspicious beginning.
Yup, indeed. Not every day as a leader can be a glorious one.
Indeed. I know that all too well.
All right. Man. To think we would have missed him if we had just agreed to lose that battle. But why would you do that? I mean, you could do that. That's fine to do, but that's obviously a failure state. And I wouldn't do that. This is just going to stay here forever, isn't it? The blood. And over there as well.
Halsin's proved himself a fine ally already. He'll be useful in battle, if those tree trunk arms are an indication.
Mm-hmm. I noticed as well.
Halsin is one hench elf. I'm impressed. And glad he's on our side.
Me too. Astarion.
I think I'll enjoy traveling with Halsin. Not for his wit or wisdom. He'll just make an excellent shield if we're attacked.
He will. That's very true.
It's about time Halsin actually stepped up and joined us properly. He's certainly been taking up space at camp for long enough.
Exactly. That's why I don't know why people are all reacting to this now. It was here all along. Yeah, I'll see you later. I mean, I know exactly why people are reacting, but still, the way they are.
A savvy move recruiting Halsin to our cause. While I'm adept at most forms of weave manipulation, druidic magic is not my area of expertise. He will make for a most useful option to have in reserve.
He will indeed. What do you say, Will?
Halsin is such a delight. Woe to the cultist who tangles with that thick hunk of an elf.
Woe to them indeed. Man, this whole party respecking is just taking a wild turn.
What's inside?
Oh, don't open that. Don't open that.
Last light in. Hearth aglow and lanterns lit. Just like 100 years ago.
I imagine the vista was more idyllic back then, as were its patrons' chances of surviving the walk home.
Still, though, when you are expecting nothing but desolation, even a small glimmer of hope fills the heart.
He was here before, but now he's remarking on it. You could have said that before, mate.
He looks a little better, doesn't he?
He does. But Halsin didn't say anything. Now, I'm curious about Jaheira, if she says anything about this. I doubt it.
The shadows haven't consumed you. Good.
She doesn't. If I talk to her with him...
The Archdruid Halsin. Do not be surprised that I know your name. You fit a rather singular description. And one survivor of the Shadow Curse's fall ought to know another.
Yeah, we never actually got to meet when fighting Ketheric that first time.
No. We were a host 100 strong, after all. Until we were not. Those of us who saw the birth of the Shadow Curse seemed doomed to return and bear witness to its work again. But I ought to warn you, Halsin. Much as it shames me, it is not the curse I come to cleanse, but the cult.
I mean to do both.
Then I'll pray for the Oak Father to raise the road before you. But my battle is with the Absolute.
All's well that ends. Not as bad as it
Well,
could have.
as I said,
Slow down.
that was quite a detour, because this act is all about the detours, honestly. Because Moonrise Hours, that was my fault. But I was just sort of like exploring this way, because I was sort of afraid of going up there.